Good morning, everybody. It's Mama G with Chronic Illness Mama. I hope you're doing well today. So yesterday I had every intention of posting a video about Seizure First Aid. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes life just gets in the way, and that was yesterday. So I didn't get the video posted. Matter of fact, I took the video, many times. We're talking probably about 10 times. And each time there was just something not quite right with it. So I'm going to try again. Hopefully everything will go well this time and I can get the video made and get it uploaded and you'll get to be watching it. So this video is going to be about, oh no, what just happened? About Seizure First Aid. And this is really near and dear to my heart because I have family members with epilepsy. And it's also a good time to share it because it's Epilepsy Awareness Month in November. So that's why I'm doing this, just as a reminder, if you didn't see my video on Monday. So Seizure First Aid is really, really important. On Monday, I shared that there are 3.4 million people in the United States with diagnosed epilepsy. And that means that there is 1 in every 26 people who will at some point in their lifetime be diagnosed with epilepsy. So looking at that and you go 1 in 26, well, there's a really good chance that at some point in your life you will interact with someone who has epilepsy, which also means there's a chance that they may have a seizure and you may need to know Seizure First Aid. So what is Seizure First Aid? Well, Seizure First Aid, the first thing you need to know are the 3 S's: stay, safe, and side. So stay is the first thing you want to do. You want to stay calm. You want to stay with the person the entire time until their seizure is over and they are awake and alert afterward. So it's not just, hey, they're done, I'm going to leave, but you want to wait until they are alert and awake afterward. And if you can't stick around that long, try and find someone who can, but hopefully you can stick around long enough for them to be alert and awake. You want to keep them safe. Well, that's kind of an obvious one, but it's not so obvious because there's been a lot of wrong information sent out there over the years. So to keep the person safe, what you really want to do is make sure there's nothing around them that could hurt them or injure them. So let's say they're in the middle of a grocery store and they start to have a seizure. First thing you want to do is move that cart away so they can't bang into it. Second thing you want to do is look around and see, is there anything they could knock down or could fall on top of them while they're having the seizure? And if the answer is yes, that they might, be kicking the shelf or something and things could fall on them, gently move them away from that shelf so that doesn't happen. What if somebody has a seizure in a chair? Should you just let them seize in the chair? Well, it probably depends on the chair, but if it's a chair that doesn't have any arms to it, then it's probably best to go on ahead and gently get them out of that chair and onto the floor. Even if it does have arms on it, if they might slide out of it, you want to move them to the floor. So I would say the exception to that would be like if they're in a great big recliner or a couch or something that's really big, a bed where you don't, there's less chance of them falling out of it. If there's any chance they could fall or slide out, you need to go ahead and gently get them to the floor. Something else would be if someone is in water when they begin to have a seizure. Of course, it makes sense. The first thing you would want to do is to get them out of the water. So that's the first thing you do. Get to them as quickly as you can, get them out of the water and get them lying down on the ground. So that's how we're going to keep them safe. The next one is side. Side is really important, but only necessary if the person is not alert or awake during the seizure. So if they are alert and aware, you don't need to do this. But if they are not, so they're unconscious and seizing, you want to turn them to their side. And this helps open the airway. You may need to lift their chin a little bit, but just really get them on their side. Loosen any tight clothing that is around their neck. And also make sure, if you can, to put something soft and small underneath their head. You might not have that, but if you do, go on ahead and do that. So we're going to stay with them, we're going to keep them safe, and we're going to put them on their side. While you're staying with them, you want to make sure that you time the seizure. And the purpose of that comes into play with how long a seizure should last. Seizures should only last between, a few seconds to a few minutes. Anything that is longer than 5 minutes, any seizure where the person is seizing for longer than 5 minutes is considered a medical emergency, and you need to call 911. That's why we ask you to time the seizure. And quite honestly, in an emergency situation, it seems like time just slows down. And it just seems like it's going on forever and ever and ever. So really, our own brains don't keep track of the time very well, especially in an emergency situation. So timing that seizure is really important to know if you need to call 911. If you have the chance to look around for a medical ID, that's, something you could definitely do. See if they have a bracelet on or a necklace. It may give you a number to call, or it may, even if they typically have long seizures, which some people do, they may carry emergency medication on them that you can then give them to help break that seizure. And the medical ID would have that on there and explain how to do it. So that's going to be the stay part, where you're going to stay with them until they're alert and aware and time the seizure. And also, if you can, look for medical ID. Again, safe, we're going to make sure there's nothing around them that could injure them, fall on them, anything like that, or they don't fall themselves. Side, we talked about turning to the side. Another reason why that's so important is because sometimes when people are in a seizure, they will vomit. And we want that to come up and out. And if they're on their back, it goes up and back, and they can end up choking on it and aspirating, and that's not good. So getting them on their side helps keep that airway open. Now, you may have heard, like I did growing up, that you've got to stick something in their mouth because otherwise they'll swallow their tongue. They'll swallow their tongue. No. Never, ever, 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 ever stick anything in the mouth of someone who's having a seizure. First of all, it's actually physiologically impossible to swallow your tongue. It's not going to happen. And if you put them on their side, that's going to open their airway too. And two, sticking something in their mouth can cut them. It can chip their teeth. It can cause bigger issues. So don't stick anything in their mouth. You turn them on their side, it'll open their airway. Not a problem. Another thing that is a huge no-no that you should not do is try to restrain the person. You can hurt them and you can hurt yourself. Just let the seizure play out. If you have them safe, you have them on the floor, there's nothing around them that they could hit and get hurt, there's nothing that could fall on them to hurt them, they're going to be safe. You do not need to restrain them. So why is this important again? This is important information because 1 in 26 people in the United States will be diagnosed with epilepsy at some point in their life. So you will probably be touched at some point by epilepsy, and you may need Seizure First Aid. And what's so cool, and I'm going to put the link down below, one thing that I think is cool is that the Epilepsy Foundation not only gives this information, but they teach you how to be certified in Seizure First Aid and offer classes to help with that, to get you certified if you want to be. But they also have this really cool screensaver, and I'm actually using it right now as my notes, that you can download onto your phone and have it there that goes over Seizure First Aid. And it helps you keep in mind what you need to do to stay safe and side. And that's just awesome. It's really cool. So at some point this month, wear some purple. Bring about some epilepsy awareness. And remember, Seizure First Aid is just like any other first aid. It's like knowing CPR. It's knowing how to take care of someone when they need you the most. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed day. And I will hopefully see you later on today. And I'll do another video about different kinds of seizures. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye, everybody.